Okay, so hello, my name is Sinru and my senior design thesis is about rebranding for the National Museum in Malaysia, which is known as Museum Negara. Museum Negara is located at the heart of Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital city of Malaysia. And Malaysia is a multi-ethnic, multicultural, and multilingual society. And many ethnic groups in Malaysia maintain separate cultural identities and has described as Asia in miniature. However, the visual assets and the collection of Museum Negara is having right now doesn't reflect it that way. This is because the museum is heavily impacted by the 1971 National Culture Policy, which states that the national culture must be based on the indigenous culture. Suitable elements from the other culture may be accepted as part of the national culture, and Islam is an important component in the molding of the national culture. So this policy attempted to propaganda Malay and Islam-centric narrative for art and culture in Malaysia. And this policy was implemented by banning lion dances and other non-Malay cultural forms in school and other functions during 1980s. These controversies had evoked strong opposition from Chinese and Indian communities. And Malaysia Truly Asia was the slogan for Malaysia tourism in the year of 2007. And this campaign has attracted more than 20 million tourists, which prove that tourists are more fascinated by Malaysia's unique diversity. And this slogan still continues today, which it transformed to Visit Truly Asia Malaysia. And tourism plays a big role in Malaysia's economy. So that's why museums should promote the diversity side of the culture as well. Since one of the Museum Negara mission is to ensure the museum as one of the country's tourism product. Aside from the history, the museum pays a little attention to the marketing of products and service. There's a lack of exciting exhibitions and there's a perception that the museum belongs to one ethnicity, which is the cause of decline of interest from other ethnicity to visit the museum. As you can see here, the current logo doesn't communicate the traditional and diverse side of Malaysian culture and heritage. And the dot on the I is the logo for the Department of Museum Malaysia. There's a translation in English on the left corner, and another translation in Javi on the right corner. You could hardly find the logo in the visual assets here, which means that the brand visibility is very low, and the logo doesn't make a good first impression to the audience. The website is outdated and they're not promoting themselves through social media very actively. Therefore, this is my thesis statement. The museum doesn't represent what contemporary idea of Malaysian culture should be. I wanted to use design as a language to speak about which varieties of culture Malaysia is having, and diverse culture is one of Malaysia's strongest assets. I plan to explore and research more about how the museum could be rebranding to welcome rich varieties of culture from different ethnicities in Malaysia. So the main audience would be the local Malaysians. The choice of the audience is a key on the language I chose to design for this project. I wanted to design for 4 languages initially for everything, which means like Chinese, English, Tamil, and Malay. However, I realized that since over half of the Malaysians understand English and 80% of them understand Malay, so the main language for this rebranding will be English and Malay. Chinese and Tamil will be applied to welcome signage and brochure design. So the goal for this project is to envision a museum that has diverse collection and promoting the traditional culture of Malaysia. So it could not only preserve the traditional aspect, but also offer more opportunities for contemporary Malaysian artists. And this is the mind map that I had when I was in the beginning of process this identity. And I highlighted some of the things that I think it would be important to represent, such as like pattern, geometric, elegant, colorful. And there's one thing I didn't highlight, but you will see immediately once you arrive there, which is the architecture itself. The museum designed by Pocoho was inspired by the architecture of Malay royal palaces, and vernacular Malay architecture. So the architectural style in the right corner you are seeing right now is called Rumah Gadang, which is Minangkabau style. And you can see the dramatic curved line roof structure from Minangkabau architecture has inspired Muzium Negara multi-triangular shaped roof structure. And these are all the hand sketches to explore the possibilities of how the roof could represent the museum. And some of the sketches was more literal, like literally to represent the roof, and some of the form are more like discover whether it needs to be more geometric or more or curvier or more accurate to the roof itself. And here are the digital sketches which I narrowed it down to from the hand sketches. And in the end, I choose this for the rebranding identity. There are three things I want to represent when I was designing, which is first thing is it needs to be an M to represent Malaysia, diversity and architectural structure, and the construction of the identity. This logo mark itself is like very geometric and it represents the modern aspect of the museum. And this angular structure was inspired by the structure itself, the architecture. Two outline triangle intersect with each other is the idea of Malaysia multicultural society, and it looks like a M. So I kept the original Malay version, Muzium Negara, which means National Museum, and English an English version, which means translate to National Museum Malaysia. The colors were inspired by the traditional performance from different cultures. So these are the vibrant colors of the logo is something that I want to show. Malaysia is a very vibrant and diverse country. However, I wanted to be very careful about color without accidentally represent the ethnicity. The reason why I'm saying that as Malaysian, you might think of certain color that you can link to a certain ethnicity, such as like Chinese, we will wear red color clothing for Chinese New Year, and green is the color you can see for Hari Raya greeting cards, and purple is the color for Diwali celebration for the Indians. Therefore, instead of having one color or analogous color for a variety of identity, I pair up colors by their warm and cool color and dark and light values. So here are the four combinations for identity. Choosing the right colors for this project is the challenge for me, since the color is very vibrant and I need to make sure that they contrast with each other. I didn't choose these four color combinations immediately when I needed to decide what the color of the identity would be. So it was rather a back and forth process. And this is the mock-up for a series of posters to show like permanent collection, which is the fashion and textile from different ethnicities. And this continuous and connection of the identity for the poster here is based on the idea of unity for different ethnicity and also a pattern that the identity could create. And next will be the promotional materials. And the color for the background here, I wanted to be more quieter instead of like having two color combination. This is because I feel like it contrasts the artifacts here more, and the focus should be the artifacts itself. And here are the brochure design for 4 languages. And the brochure includes like a brief history of the museum, map of the visitor to visit around the museum, and visiting information including opening hours and services museum provided. So yeah, this is the English version, Malay version. I didn't do like Chinese or Tamil version, but it's more like for the cover and the mock-up. So one thing to note that is currently the collection that the museum is having right now is very heavily focused on Malay perspective on the history of Malaysia. I wanted to envision that my museum to be much more than that. So the galleries I included are history of Malaysia, faith and belief, cultural heritage, and contemporary Malaysia. The next thing I designed for the Museum Negara is the signage design. The pictograms here are based on the identity form. So the forms are angular and certain corners are rounded so that it wouldn't look as harsh with the angular corner is having. And here are some mock-ups of the signage design for the museum. Another mock-up for the shopping bag with a consistent color combination that other applications are having. So throughout this project, I have a better understanding of art and culture in Malaysia and what kind of challenges it had in the past. As a person who is passionate about art and culture in general, I believe we could understand and connect with each other more through the understanding of art, and art affects the fundamental sense of national identity. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Oh, Diva. Yeah. Yeah, initially I wanted to design for the website as well, but like due to the time constraint, and also like Nicole's advice, like more like think of how to promoting the museum itself. So I think if I could extend, I would do the website and also more like advertising poster, because I have a poster for like the special exhibition, but I just feel like it doesn't like link to the identity for now. So I would like to like do more advertising poster and like website if I could extend this project. Hopefully this year. Yeah. Oh, the color I chose in the beginning, it was like more like have similar value. And then I was like thinking, okay, maybe for the variety of the identity, it would be like just having them pair up like randomly. And then after that, I realized that when I was doing my brochure design and poster design, it just don't contrast very well. And I realized that the 6 colors I'm having is a bit like over the place. So I organize it again, maybe like the blue and the red could be like darker, and the orange and the pink could like be the middle ground, and the yellow and the blue, the turquoise could be like the lighter. So like with this combination of like very uh mixing like pair up with the warm and cool color also like, and like the medium and with the darker value and the lighter value with the medium value, it just contrasts much more here. Yeah. Um, I wish I could do more like exploring about like the system as a whole. Like for like printing like the poster. Poster is a thing that I really wanted to do, but I feel like I didn't have a very solid design system for it. That's why I didn't do much for the poster. But if I need to do it again, I think I would focus more about like the design system for everything, and before like I even design for like for other stuff.